Nick. The only issue is, Nick, you're not a New Yorker.
I'm not a New Yorker. I'm
So
from Connecticut.
sorry.
That's
Yeah.
But
okay.
that's like that. That's absolutely okay. And you know
Okay.
what? If I don't use you, it helps. It helps me as a person and as a journalist
Sure.
to understand.
And it's good practice for
where
me
everyone's
too.
coming
So.
from. Yeah. I think that's. I'm glad that you see it that way.
Yes.
Why don't you guys do a piece on him? I mean, I expect there'd be a 1-hour interview with him at this point.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you know what? He
I mean,
is.
come
I
on.
think that
De
is pretty
Blasio
savvy.
did a piece on him. Now Bloomberg's running, and here you have a hometown boy who came out of nowhere, and he's number 5.
We are trying to get him.
Exactly.
We're trying to get him in. He could talk with Errol Lewis. I don't know if you guys know Errol Lewis. Pat Kiernan. We're trying to get him in. He's been
Pat
traveling
Kiernan,
a lot.
We love Pat Kiernan.
He's been traveling a lot. I think that actually,
Yeah.
to be really honest, they think they're pretty selective at this point now that people are starting to notice him about who he's doing media with, because he reaches a different group of people and more people if he does these like podcasts rather than doing like some sort of mainstream local. So like New York is important to us, but it's not like Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina.
Have they
Nevada.
reached out to him? Because I know he's doing local press, like just
We,
wherever.
I've reached out to him. They, like
Anywhere.
they're so responsive.
Uh-huh.
They're super responsive, but
What
they're
do you
not.
see
in Andrew Yang that you haven't seen in other candidates? What makes you a true believer?
I feel that it's his humanity. Putting humanity first being more than a slogan. He's really exemplified that throughout his campaign run. And I was convinced of that as soon as I saw him in New York City at the Washington Square Park, the Humanity First rally. It was just so much excitement in the air and enthusiasm. There were so many people representing a sea of humanity, the true greatness of this country, which is the diversity, people of all backgrounds, all age groups, all even political persuasions, because Andrew Yang has such a widespread appeal throughout the political spectrum. I see him as basically diagnosing the problem and then coming up with real world solutions that make so much sense, and we need that kind of clear vision going forward for this country.
That's so well said. So I have a skeptical reporter's question for you.
Sure.
I obviously see a ton of support for Andrew Yang online.
Yes.
You know, on Facebook, on Twitter.
Yes.
Do you think that will translate to votes? Will people who are so fervently supporting him online go to the ballot box when it comes down to it?
I do. I sincerely do. And the reason for that is, even though it is the internet candidacy, it's translating into real life right now, like in an unprecedented way. There are Yang Gang hangs that are happening across the country, and the activity is just going to continue to grow because of that widespread appeal. As candidates drop out, those supporters are going to be looking for someone to get behind. And when they see that Andrew Yang has the vision, he has the intelligence, he has this laser focus about solving the problems that resulted in the current president, I think that that's going to translate into votes and getting involved and showing up to the ballot box, their polling stations for sure.
I'm gonna do my New York question on you, even though you're a Connecticut resident.
All
in
right.
the tri-state region. Do you see any traits that are uniquely New York or New York City in Andrew Yang?
I really do. I definitely see the resilience. He has a swagger about him because he knows the life here, in the city. Having gone to school, studied law at Columbia, and the fact that he lives here, it shows that he has that kind of perspective that makes him an all-around cosmopolitan. But at the same time, through his nonprofit work, with Venture for America, he got to see other parts of the country too. So he doesn't live like in a bubble, like a city bubble. But I think the fact that, he's lived here, he lives here, and he's been able to get a feel for how other people think and feel, he can connect with that. I think he has a real emotional intelligence as well as, the book smarts.
Is there anything you want to add?
I want to add that I believe it is imperative that Andrew Yang be the next president of the United States, because as the saying goes, hindsight's 20/20. You have this vision for the future that can be very optimistic. It could be one that changes the country for the better. Economic justice, especially with the freedom dividend, and ending poverty. I really love the fact that Andrew focuses on data and math. but he also has shared a history with us, refreshing our national history, especially when it comes to basic income. You know, starting with Thomas Paine with the citizens' dividend, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with the guaranteed minimum income. Elon Musk has mentioned it. Obama has advocated for it, basically saying, you know, we're going to have to think differently about how we work and how we value work and what that means to us. So I really think that Andrew has that clear vision and focus that's going to really turn the tide in this country. I really think that he's a unifier and a visionary and problem solver, as he says. And I'm just excited, you know, for the movement and how it's growing. And I really want to do all I can to see him win.
You guys, he's lucky to have supporters like you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I told you! when she called me, right? She's like,
Thank you for the
I'm gonna
opportunity.
interview you. I said, you should interview Nick. And then she said, don't show sell yourself.
No, you know what's so interesting is like other candidates have surrogates.